Okay, cool. So this is, I guess, the first meeting of this Corpora committee. So we will call it to order at 6:09 p.m. And then just kind of for formality, let's have a roll call. I am Jody Van Tyne, Begley, Raven, Lunatic, West March Region.
Christine Stender, Ilanthus, West March Monarch.
David Zucker, Azus, West March Prime Minister.
James Anderson, Thistledown, Weyburn Spur Regent.
David Yake, I play Darius Longstrider. I am the Guildmaster of Reeves of Wyvern Spur.
Awesome. It's a good group of people. And then not able to make it tonight are Terza Brown and Amanda Giles. So first thing on the agenda.
We should get a champion in here.
I know, right? Absolutely.
Sometime.
Well, we've got Wyvern Spur pretty well represented. So So the first thing I put is, do we want to go through the Corpora section by section or by topics? Ilanthus, do you have a preference?
I think we have some good important topics to hit first.
Okay.
And then there's certainly a good amount of kind of cleanup and tweaking that we could go through front to back once we have the big topics ready to go, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so we'll go by the topics then. Did everyone get a copy of my outline, the agenda outline that I posted?
Yes, thank
Yep.
you.
Okay, all right, cool. So the first thing was the section on credits. Our Corpora does not comply. It's not in line with the rules of play, credits and levels.
Correct. For one thing, we've got quarter credits for this and that and various other things. Whereas I'm trying to pull it up right now.
So I can read the section too. It's section 3. I don't remember which article. All members who attend and participate at an officially scheduled arts and science meeting shall gain 1 quarter color credit. A player may receive no more than 1/2 color credit per week of arts and science meetings. All members who attend and participate at an officially scheduled fighter practice event shall gain 1 quarter warrior credit. Player may receive no more than 1/2 warrior credit per week from fighter practices. I'm not reading them in order. Additional credits may be awarded for attendance at feasts, special events, or events in other Amtgard chapters at the discretion of the local monarch. Members may receive this additional credit for travel more than 250 miles from their home park. Members may earn no more than 8 credits per month at a rate of no more than 2 per week. More than 2 credits may be earned in a single week if there was a multi-day event that week. The rules of play is basically if you have to play the class to get a credit in that class. Then you can advance with approval of the Guildmaster. So here's the part that's different. Only 1 attendance credit may be given on a single day, although kingdoms may award bonus credits according to their corpora. You must play the class you wish to gain credit in. If no class is played, but fighting takes place, you may take a warrior credit. Players who reeve may take a reeve credit. Players who otherwise participate may take a color credit. Kingdoms are allowed to award a maximum of 12 bonus credits above and beyond attendance. Credits to any player in a single month, and no more than 3 bonus credits may be issued per 1 attendance credit. All classes gain new ability. That doesn't matter. So, in the rules of play, it says that they can get bonus credits according to the corpora. And so the warrior credit, the 1/2 warrior credit, and the color credit, would you consider that a bonus credit? Or what were your ideas on this section?
Well, if you guys are able to see all the edits I made in the working document, I just posted the link to it. One thing is we have to get rid of all the partial credit things. It's a credit or no credit at all. Let's see. I added in something that's not there currently, but I think it should be, which is officially scheduled park day is canceled. Players may receive 1 credit from online attendance instead. And then let's see. I added in only 1 attendance credit may be given on a single day, and deleted all members who attend and participate at officially scheduled fighter practice, get rid of the quarter credit, all that. Completely strike the half warrior credits for practice. Same thing for ANS. Add in bonus credits instead of additional credits, which is what's in there right now, may be awarded for attendance at feasts, special events, or for travel outside their home park. One of the significant things that's changed by the wording here is a bonus credit counts towards using, ranking up, but it does not count towards voting.
Oh, that
There's-
is still, okay, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, there's a difference between an attendance credit and a bonus credit.
Okay, so count towards leveling, but not towards voting.
Right, only attendance credits count towards voting.
So we're gonna need to put that in later as far as voting eligibility.
Well, it really is in there currently. It's just
Okay.
never been enforced or interpreted that way. Because currently what's in there, I think, is that players may receive a maximum of 12 bonus credits in addition to the 3. And let's see, no more than 3 bonus credits may be issued per attendance credit. So that's what's already in the rule book, but we need to get in line with that. Let's
Christine, do we still have our notes from when we wrote this the first time?
I do not.
No.
I worked on writing the original Principality Corpora, and then
Right,
after
so did I. I remember we were, yeah.
yeah, well, after I left, they went back and rewrote the Kingdom Corpora, which is in some ways very, very different. And I wasn't part of that group.
Yeah, I was part of that group, and no, I don't have any of those notes.
I probably have the original Principality notes, but I don't have the Kingdom ones.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
So when we talk about attending another Amp Guard chapter more than 250 miles from your home park, how do we administer those?
So you would get an attendance credit for attending a park that day. And then
Yes.
you would get a bonus credit additionally for traveling 250 miles from your home park.
And the
So
prime
who-
minister of that park would have to enter it. So you when you sign in, you should put in notes and talk to that prime minister.
It is on the PM of the park that is being visited to enter the credit.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think we should probably write that down. Just have that noted that the prime minister of the park that you are visiting is in charge of that bonus credit. Because I recently attended a Bladed Coast. Now that my home park is here in California, Idaho's pretty far away. And they thought that West March would be administering those credits. So
And it could easily get double credited. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they're
so-
wrong.
yeah,
So the
They're
first problem
wrong,
is the
but-
park that's entering it is the one who's in charge of entering credits. We don't enter credits if you attend elsewhere.
Well, if we
But
have,
it's good to have that in writing.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that credit is not granted by the other kingdom. It's granted by West March.
Okay, so
So-
it theoretically is only applied if you are, so if I go to another West March event, then theoretically that park might give me a bonus credit. But if I go to an event in the wetlands, then
Well,
it's up to them. It's up to
this-
their land. It's not
yeah,
a
that
West March.
bonus,
They're not gonna necessarily honor a West March rule.
Right.
well,
So
yeah,
there's
that-
also the issue, as Prime Minister of West March, you go to a park in Idaho, you get a credit there, you want a bonus credit. I'm kind of stuck in how I'm going to assign it. I can give you a credit for attendance in a park in West March. I can't enter a bonus credit for attendance elsewhere. So now it gets
Yes.
really weird that you're going to have a bonus credit for attending a park in West March when you didn't attend. And I can't put
True.
notes in the org explaining why this credit is weird.
Yes. So yeah,
yeah.
that's just why I'm asking, because we
Yeah.
have that rule saying travel more than 250 miles. So people might go to a park in a completely different kingdom. Because this says other AmpGuard chapters, but it doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
say
This
other
is a good
AmpGuard
opportunity to
chapters.
codify it.
Yeah. I think we should probably clarify that just for the benefit of, having it well defined and distinctive.
So
Yeah.
should we say if you attend a park in West March that's more than 250 miles from your home park?
I think we should probably codify that. Yeah.
Okay,
well,
that makes
I
sense.
would actually suggest a different option. I would say that, I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past, Azus. We have a land or something in the orc that is event credits. Is there a way to rename that into bonus credits?
Maybe. I don't know how that's set up. That goes way back when we were Principality trying to track the days, because we had to hit 75 people at one park per month. And that was set up to create that, and it might still be under Dragon Spine. It's
So just to, while you're on that
no, what we
thought,
can do with that.
what you're saying is bonus credits may be awarded for attendance at feasts in other West March lands. West March chapters, you're basically saying instead of other AmpGuard chapters, replacing AmpGuard with West March.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
think
right?
Yeah.
Well,
I think that would be favorable.
but that is not what it was designed to do. It was designed for people who are going to clan to get that extra credit for traveling. So if we could set up a bonus land in the orc, I don't know if we can make a new land or something else and name it bonus. Anytime there's a bonus credit awarded, it should go into that instead of the land's attendance.
And so say I go to FOM or FOO or whatever it's going to be called. All of the people that go to Dark Shore and FOM actually also would get bonus credits. So they'd get double credits each day they're at the special event.
Not necessarily. It would be, it was for things like when we had a feast, people went to the field and then later that night came back and went to another event that was separate. And it was to get that extra credit for 2 events in one day. If you're at the same event the whole time, I would not say you get double credits, no.
I guess
But
my idea was like Conclave, because Conclave is not, I don't know if it's even an event in West March, but if I go to Conclave, even if it's not 250 miles away from my home park, would I get a bonus credit for going to a conclave?
If the monarch declares it so.
Okay.
It's up to the monarch currently. I think it even specifically says in the local level. So yeah, at the discretion of the local monarch. So if, you know, Wave Haven's monarch says everybody who goes to conclave gets an extra credit, then everybody in Wave Haven would. And
Okay.
lately, we've certainly been giving the West March monarch that power of saying, do this thing and you get an extra credit. But the main, yeah, ideally we would have it be that we have a land within the West March orc that is bonus credits, and any PM who enters in a credit would enter it as a bonus credit. So it wouldn't affect their local lands credit level or attendance, but it could still be entered in.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good point because it shouldn't affect the local land's attendance if they go somewhere else. I hadn't really thought about that.
I see
Right.
it putting more onus on the kingdom prime minister if he has, if that is the person who has to deal with all bonus credits.
Yes. So if there's a virtual land called bonus credits, the local prime ministers will not be able to enter credits for that land, which means
I see.
either there is some person who's set up as prime minister of that land, who would then have to be a member of that land and not a member of their own land on the orc, which makes things weird. Or it's the kingdom prime minister to enter all the bonus credits.
Okay. Hmm.
Mm.
My turn.
What we need is for an update to the orc that allows specifically bonus credits versus attendance credits, and updates to the orc are very slow.
Yeah.
I don't think they fixed the security, really fixed the security breach from a month ago.
Who's in charge of
Mm.
orc updates? How does that happen?
Some guy.
Yeah. No, there's a couple of guys.
Some guy.
I should know the name. I have the name at the back of my tongue,
So-
but the name that's back there is for a doctor and not an amp gardener.
My point there was,
yeah.
it is not an established functionary in any way of Amtgard as a whole that does it. It is just a random Amtgarder that does it.
Right. Much like our Discord is run by Halaver, just because he was the only guy who stepped up and said, I'll do it.
Just how a lot of things happen in Amtgard, I feel.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so we're getting a little off topic here. It seems like we need to make the changes just so we're in line with the rule book. And how to best implement that is a little bit of our problem.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
removing
what would be,
local monarch
I mean,
part.
for me, so say I go to SoCal and I go to a park, you know, is on as a player, it's kind of on me to realize that if I go to another park or an event, it's up to me if I want the bonus credit to either make a note or to tell the prime minister, put it on the attendance sheet, a whole different topic, but it's kind of up to me to be aware of this and to ask for it and make sure it gets done.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be something where you go to your local prime minister and say, hey, local prime minister, I got this bonus credit. And then I guess the local prime minister would then have to do a weekly list or whatever to the kingdom prime minister to get it entered in, or enter it in as a regular credit until we have that change.
But that throws off the attendance tracking.
Yeah.
Sure. but I mean, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing right now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the org shows you'd put in 2 credits for 1 day. I think some of the org reports are per day, not per credit.
And that's fine, but that would only work if it is the receiving, the hosting person entering the credits, not the home park. Because the home park, you have a bonus, but no primary.
Yeah, I think
Right.
the only way to do it right now is to make the Kingdom Prime Minister enter in any bonus credit, and everything else is attendance at the local level. But that does put more work on our PM, and that's why we have a scribe position.
Except the scribe is not going to have orc access to enter those credits in.
No, but in general, they can help you out and take some of the load off.
Yeah. I think the current system is the best we've got.
Sure.
Local prime minister, if someone gets a bonus credit, they just enter in 2 credits for that day. And it shows up as attendance for that day. 1 attendance. I mean, I know if I'm checking somebody's attendance, I'm looking at number of days and not number of credits in the past 6 months or 3 months.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was just actually looking at mine and looking at the dates and not really the number of credits, but how many times I've gotten credit within the 3-month period.
Alrighty.
right, which on that report now shows however many days you were at Feast of Xme at Dark Shore, it shows up as 1 date.
Mm.
I don't know if we want 1 event to count for 1 attendance or 4 attendances.
Didn't we always do it for more, however many days you were there?
You
Well,
got
but that means that
credits for every day.
Yeah. Like you get 4 credits, but 1 attendance, 1 attendance state. It would be awfully weird if you went to Feast of Mars, skipped a month, attended 2 days, and boom, you're vote eligible for 2 park days in an event.
So going back to making the Corpora change, I mean, a lot of what we've talked about is how do we as the monarchy and lands record the credits, but that doesn't have to be in compliance with the rules of play. That's not really something that as the Corpora committee, we need to put in the Corpora necessarily, or is it?
Bonus credits are nice and we are assumed to have them, but they are not as required by the rules of play as the rest of what we need to come in line with.
And that's going to be in the section on voting eligibility. And,
Right.
and qualifying, attendance qualified, but not really in this section for credits.
So I think for credits, we change it to match the rules of play, maybe just copy and paste. For vote eligibility, add a note that it's days of attendance to like park days or attendance to an event and not number of credits. So bonus credits don't count.
And then we can table what qualifies as bonus credits and where we get them and who enters them.
Yeah.
Yes. So are the changes then that Ilanthus has put in the Google Doc something that we would agree on? I think, you know, for our committee, it's really to go through these things and, you know, come to an agreement, but also it's ultimately up to the monarch to post the Corpora change for all things.
So for what Ilanthus has written here, at the moment, I would take out the travel more than 250 miles until we can solve how that's getting entered.
So it would read bonus credits may be awarded for attendance at feasts, special events, events in other West March chapters at the discretion of the local monarch, period.
And cut it there. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I would also agree with that. I think that's it just makes it a little bit more clear. Removes any chance or removes more chance of potential confusion.
And excuse me, and is consistent with the rules of play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will disappoint people that travel credits look like they're going away, but they can still be given at the monarch's discretion, and it's because we don't have a system to actually do them.
And do we need to put in here that as far as like copy and paste, that kingdoms are allowed to award a maximum of 12 bonus credits in a single month and no more?
I
we
think
need-
that was a robot copy.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, do we need to copy that into our corpora?
The part that Atlantis did is part 6. Yeah, I
Huh?
think.
I think so.
Okay, that's simple and clear and gets rid of all of that 1/4 and 1/2 and all of that.
I can edit this, huh?
Oh, hello, anonymous squirrel.
The other thing that I had seen somewhere, and I can't remember where it is now, was did we do away with online attendance credits?
It is my understanding that those were done away with as of like Tuesday this week.
Right, so that,
Sort of. So kingdom level, the sign and grab on Discord, where people were posting, I made weapons today, give me a credit in warrior. Those have gone away. The local lands are still doing them. So I think the Salts, Crimsonwood, and SSD are still doing it on a local level. But the Kingdom Discord, that one stopped.
I just
Gotcha.
wanted to make sure that the section, if an officially scheduled park day is canceled, players may receive 1 credit from online attendance. That pretty much takes care of just the, I made weapons, I want a credit. That doesn't count
Yeah.
anymore. That encompasses, this statement encompasses that.
Yeah, though,
Okay.
I mean, on the local side, if they're canceling their weekly meet and doing a post what you're doing,
Okay,
that's it's all on the local level. The Kingdom one
okay.
is
Okay. So I think, is this done then? Are we happy with this?
It's
Your
not
Majesty?
done, but it's done for tonight until, because we have to table that thing on bonus credits and orc and such.
Right, but can this be put up for, is it in a form that we can propose this change and have the Queen put it up for all thing in July?
I'll comment another thing in this regarding the quarter credits, half credits, stuff like that. A&S credits and fighter practices, those would fall under bonus credits. Is that correct? Or would those be attendance as a second day?
anyone have a rule book open?
I have.
I do.
I just have the Kingdom Corpora, but I can grab a.
I have a rule book open here.
Okay, I switched to my phone. I'm trying to get it to stop
Credits and
stereo.
level. Page 30.
There we go.
Uh, as what we were saying, and not much else. So, yes, if we fighter practices could be a full, instead of a quarter credit thing that we were doing, they would be a bonus credit or an actual attendance credit. No class play, but fighting takes place, so they have to be warrior. I don't like that, but it's in the rule book now, so fine. And A&S nights, if they're regularly scheduled, can be in attendance or a bonus credit at the park's discretion. But in any case, both would be full credits, no longer quarter credits.
Right.
Yeah, because the rules of play just says if no class is played but fighting takes place, you get a warrior credit. Reeve, you
Right.
get a Reeve credit. And then if you do anything else, otherwise participate, may take a color credit. Doesn't it need to be like a regularly scheduled practice though? It's not like you can just go, hey, I'm gonna get a bunch of people together because I need credits and we'll call it a fighter practice and I get a credit.
That would be up to the monarch for deciding if they count as a bonus credit or not.
I think that part would be per our Corpora, whether fighter practices ANS count for attendance for vote eligible or not.
Yeah, I can see that question. I would say not, but
I would almost say regular park day events, attendance credit. Fighter practice, ANS on a different day, not as a park day, would be a bonus credit and not count as attendance. So it's kind of like if I go to Kaya's Crafty Chats, I can get a credit for attending, but it would be a bonus credit. I couldn't use it to count as my attendance.
yes. And we should probably codify that if we need to. That could just be the bonuses that are for the monarch.
I personally want people at parks. However, I know that there's been some pretty strong pushback. Rose was one of the people arguing about it. Drenth and all of Crimsonwood behind him, I think, are strongly in the camp of any participation online or in person should count. So there's definitely going to be some pushback, whichever direction we choose. Did I lose you guys?
Nope.
Yeah.
We heard.
Okay.
I'm also kind of personally divided because like just last weekend I definitely took an online credit because I had to quarantine. And I know it was one of those things that made me feel a little less shitty about not being able to go to park that weekend. But I also think that it's totally fair to say that we want to reduce the, not really have we want to encourage people to be at park. We're a physical game that's about attendance. It's about participation. And if you're not attending and participating, then yeah. However, I think maybe organized online events, if we had more in the way of, I know that Viridian Outlands was, and I'm trying to remember what the kingdom is on the Washington coast, but both of those were doing
Blackspire?
Yeah, Blackspire. Blackspire and Viridian Outlands were both doing online classes on like how to play certain classes better. And doing that sort of event as a credits thing for people that couldn't attend park for various reasons. And that was participation in an event, I mean, in an event, in an organized event. And I think that that's something we could encourage more, instead of just credits for doing something Amp Guard related. Something vaguely Amp Guard related, like doing something more organized like that. I don't know.
I
It's
think
gonna be
that's-
really hard to codify all of this in a document without going into
For
pages.
sure.
I
For-
think as it's written currently, the officially scheduled meetings, it does not define whether it has to be online or in person. And if we leave it vague like that, other lands can kind of make that call for themselves and not make it an issue. If we try to make it an issue and say it has to be in person, I don't think it's going to pass. I think there'll be too many people who complain about that. So I think we just make the changes that we think will pass without too much fight, that get us in line with the rules of play. And then we can worry about tweaking or making major shifts at a later date.
I think that's
Okay.
fair.
Atlantis, question to you as Monarch.
Uh-huh.
People who have quarter credits on their orc at the moment, if we are no longer offering quarter credits, will you give them bonus to round those up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So is what we have on the section in the edited stuff, is that all work for everybody? I saw somebody else made a change. to
Yeah,
take
I
the-
did a few changes.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Okay.
with, I'm happy with the way this looks.
Okay, the only actual policy change is the addition of 2A. But I don't think anyone's gonna complain about that.
Right.
Well,
And
I
it
think
looks
that
like it looks like we are removing things, but they're still at the monarch's discretion, so they're not actually removed.
Right.
And the 2A allows for COVID again, or, or something like that.
Exactly. Or weather.
Or weather, smoke. Because I think with the way things are, we've had a lot of air quality park days have been canceled.
There was a Kingdom Qualls that we really should have canceled that day that we ran it. I remember that.
All right,
Yeah.
does
1, 2,
anybody want to
3,
volunteer to put that in a way that I can put up online and say, hey, let's vote on this next month? Or shall I do it?
So it's 1, 2, and 2A, 3, and then 4 and 5. So
4,
the
5,
numbers,
4, 5, 6, 7. It's all the way through
well,
7.
but we're taking 7 out and we're taking 4 out and replacing it. So
so
the numbering,
Okay.
the numbering needs
Yeah.
to agree. I know that's minor, but
Yeah, we'll have 4, 5.
2, 3, 4, and 5,
Yeah, I think that's it.
4 and 5.
So it's striking a bunch of stuff and yeah, we just need to get it written up in such a way that,
So what I've seen posted in the past, when we present things, or when I've seen other lands and kingdoms present things, is this is the way it is now. And this is what we're proposing it be changed to.
And
Yeah. Okay.
Put it in, changing it to this will bring us in line with the rules of play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really important.
yeah. Okay, again though, so I can write it up or does somebody else want to volunteer to write it up?
I mean, I've kind
I'll
of
do it.
already volunteered to write things, so I'm
Okay,
content with that.
wonderful. Okay, sounds
Jody
good.
votes yes.
I've been handwriting notes, so.
Okay, oh, great, all
Oh,
right.
man.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know when you'd be able to get something written up to be posted?
Do we need to
Yeah,
have a 2
Gotta
week,
be soon.
2 week time period to get it posted for the discussion?
So the 2 week time period, the deadline is tomorrow. If we are later than that, then if we want to do it for July, we have to add the option to postpone, which it's very rare we get enough votes to postpone.
Now,
I
the-
can type this up right after this meeting
Okay. I
and
mean,
then send it over the Facebook group. Everyone make the changes they want to make to it. If I missed anything, which I probably did.
oh,
My
yeah.
brain doesn't work that fast.
So Azus, I know that you like to give people a week to vote, but technically the all thing starts on the 2nd. So in theory, we have until the 18th.
No,
No?
it's a
Okay.
week long. It's in the Corpora, Monday to Monday. And we did that because one of the Southern California groups, their regular day was on a Thursday. So the
Man.
first weekend of the month didn't work. I don't know who that was or if they're still Thursday. Where is it? It is in the Corpora, Monday to Monday.
That's stupid.
I mean, I get the reason, but
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's elections.
That's because
Yeah,
it has to be specific.
Yeah, under governments, elections and all thing sections, both like section 3, all thing, 5C, allow for a full week, Monday to Monday.
Okay.
And
All right,
then
well-
I usually give prime ministers, a day to get everything tallied and turned in. There's nothing, is there anything in here that says like results need to be announced within such and such a time period?
I wish. I hope there is. If not, that's something for another day.
Yeah, I don't think there's like elections. Okay, elections is post the final results within 3 days. And it's weird watching you highlight stuff.
Oh,
But
sorry.
all thing votes. Yeah,
Yeah, so
all
it's,
thing votes, there's no deadline except for like what I put out there.
so all things items must be scheduled at least 2 weeks in advance, including but not limited to changes of the corpora. If the 2 week minimum cannot be met, items may still be added to an all thing agenda, provided an option for moving that item to a later date is given along with a yes or no option. I
Yeah.
think we've done that recently, so if
Oh yeah,
we
we've been
can't,
a lot better.
yeah, if we can't get it posted by tomorrow, then we could still post it Tuesday, the 14th, and just add the option of postpone,
Yeah.
So
right?
you pointed out that I've got this highlighted business. So it looks like 5 is directly in conflict with C there
Oh, right.
because it's the first weekend of the month, and then allow for a full week Monday to Monday. So I would say they can hold their election anytime Monday to Monday, but we are bound by the 2 weeks before the first weekend of the month,
Yes, I agree with that.
which puts us back to the 18th again. Does that make sense?
And then at some point we probably should make everything match up a little better.
Yeah, and in fact, I would say that the all thing must allow for a full week. That means Monday to Monday following that weekend.
Hmm.
Oh no.
So if the all thing is the second and third, then we need to allow the fourth through the 11th.
I mean, as it's written, maybe.
I mean,
I
we've
don't-
been doing Monday
Yeah.
to Monday, the week falling over that first
Yeah.
weekend.
And that makes most sense to me. I'm just going by what's written. It's kind of wonky. I think we can just keep going as how we have been, and I don't think anyone's going to complain.
Yeah.
But
And
it does give us the out of, it doesn't have to be 2 weeks before the week before. It just has to be 2 weekends before the weekend.
that feels weird. If we put in the option to postpone, I don't think we've ever had anything get enough votes to postpone.
I think it's happened once or twice, but it's super rare.
Yeah.
And if we add that to the all thing, then we're in compliance with the corpora and it almost becomes a moot point. But
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to post something 3 days before the first weekend of the month and not give people a chance to look at it and see it. I mean, that would be kind of rude.
No, yeah, I definitely think the 2 weeks is good. It's just, when did the 2 weeks start? And I was thinking they started on Saturday, but if you want to start them on Monday, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we've been doing it by the Monday.
All right, let's move on from that topic then, because I think we've
So we
spent
have-
a lot of time.
Yep, so we have that and we're gonna post it by tomorrow then? We're
yeah.
posting it up?
Hopefully.
And if
What?
not, we'll just
Okay, so for clarification, we're just clarifying that it's got to be the first week of the month when there's an all thing.
The whole thing is the first weekend of the month.
Okay.
We are not making any changes right now to that. We were just debating on how it needed to be dealt with for future. Right now, we're just leaving that, and we'll make those changes later.
Okay, no current changes to all thing.
Correct. It does need, we could write a note in there of, we need to come back to this later, but it's not one of our topics for tonight.
Come back. in the
I just highlighted that area with the note to.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, that's bright. Okay.
Did you-
So
Did you make an edit to it, or did you make a suggestion to it?
I think they came out as an edit.
Yeah, let's go back and make it a suggestion. That way we have the original wording still there for later.
Oh,
Sorry,
I haven't changed
already,
the wording.
I'm the one who changed wording.
Wait,
Okay.
anonymous blobfish. I love it.
Okay.
I should be able to undo out of everything I did though. Yeah, all right, so now.
There we go.
Let me
Okay,
know
well-
when you're done and we'll go on to the
I'm
next.
done, I'm done.
Okay,
So next is, let's see, we've done,
attendance requirements.
yes. I think that's a fight for a later date. We've got what I put up the other day. I've talked to the lands that are gonna keep doing their thing. And until we can sort of get everybody on the same page, it's probably not a fight worth having.
So do you want to table this item then
Yeah,
for now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Okay.
Which puts to quals, I guess.
yep,
I am in favor of getting rid of the quals requirements for office while continuing to have the competitions, moving the competitions to the same day as coronation. And putting in some other qual system. Ones I've seen or heard about are things like everybody has to submit a resume, or you have to do one of these list of items like run an event or run a tournament or whatever. And I think those are way better options than just ANS and fighting. And making non-fighters fight is so outdated.
Yeah.
So
I'm a bit unclear on your bit on having the ANS competition, even on link, the same day as coronation. Elaborate that, please.
well, right now we have it 3 or 4 weeks before, which requires more people to travel than who, might prefer not to, and it would get more people, I would hope, to coronation. So it'd be much like Midrain is run currently. You have your events during the day and your court in the afternoon. So we can kind of focus people in directions of how we want those 2 days to be different, Midrain versus coronation, but it would be the same basic format.
Okay. And really, at Qualls, we did run court, so
Yeah.
I guess.
It's just removing the requirement for people to travel twice in a 3-week period.
Okay. What are we, so for the fall, I can definitely see that because coronation is kind of being its own thing. That would mean having Qualls at Dark Shore.
Yes, we'd have some sort of ANS tournament at Dark Shore.
I don't know if I like that. Like for me, that would only work if we got it off of Memorial Day a week again.
Because you can't participate?
Yeah.
I see.
Memorial Day is a very heavily impacted weekend for a lot of people.
Yeah.
May is tough.
However, if it's no longer a requirement for anything, if some people can't make it, we tend to get more people at Dark Shore than we do to any qual event we've ever.
That's fair. That's fair. And things can be sent.
Yeah.
Without being in person.
Yeah. I think that those are really good points. Like the point about having it at Dark Shore because of the higher attendance. It's already an event people are traveling to go to, combined with despite the fact that a lot of people wouldn't be able to attend, they can still send stuff. I think that's especially if we're considering that. And of course, I am 100% in favor of removing the quals requirements for office, just because it seems like
You were cutting out there. We didn't catch all of what you were saying.
Because quals aren't super common, it's very. I know it can be difficult for people to stay up with that. I know that weren't qualled.
What do other kingdoms do?
I only know of Golden Vale because I was there. They got rid of their qual system and required a resume instead while we were there. So in the last probably 2 years. Maybe more because it was right before COVID. So I guess it was like more than like 2 years ago now. And that's where I got the original idea for the resume. But honestly, I liked the Terza's suggestion of the list of things you could do and just get one of those things checked off and then you're good to go. Better.
If we change to that, we could add Prime Minister to the list of people who need to submit a resume or do something.
So I'm looking at the Burning Lands, you know, they posted their current corpora, and I was looking Crown qualification process, yearly process, complete the required amount of quests. The process resets each January 1, and then the list of number of required credits varies by office, and then the following are the approved quests and number of times each is allowed to be performed for credit. So travel to another Burning Lands park, travel to another Amtgard Kingdom, participate in Dragon Master, participate in Weapon Master, enter Dragon Master, enter Weapon Master, Autocrat, and approved Burning Lands event, pick teams in battle games and play for the whole day, sign in as a Reeve and Reeve for a whole day, organize and execute an approved demo, recruit a new player who attains level 2 in a class, design and run a new battle game, volunteer to work on the staff at an approved event, teach an approved arts and sciences class.
And these were due X of these, or?
So I didn't read. So it says the following are approved and the number of times each is allowed to be performed. So travel to another Burning Lands Park 2, travel to another Amtgard Kingdom 2, participate in Dragon Master 1, Weapon Master 1, enter each, Autocrat and approved Burning Lands event, unlimited number of times, pick teams for battle games twice, sign in as a Reeve and Reeve for a whole day twice, organize and execute an approved demo unlimited, recruit a new player who attains level 2 in a class. You know what, here, I'm just, give me a second.
I don't think we need it
Yeah.
listed out, but.
Yeah, but there's
the idea-
there's a number of different, you know, times that you can do each one to qualify. And then
What's
there's,
the total that you need?
so Kingdom up, so here, this is, give me a second here.
Okay. Because
Give- Just give me a
While
second.
you're,
Hold on.
while you're doing that, I'm gonna
Here.
talk, but feel free to keep going your thing. I tend to think that that's a lot more having to track for the current monarchy than I really want to sign us up for. So while I like a lot of the ideas, I would rather probably simplify it and make it something along the lines of, you know, take some of those bigger ideas and say, you have to do one of these.
Can you see my
Right.
screen?
Yeah, and
I-
I see a bit above there where it says Kingdom Office 10 credits, Duchy Office
Yep.
10 credits. earnings.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't love the having to track credits. Like, I like a lot of their ideas, but for me, that just seems like more work for people. You know, as long as they're voting eligible already and have done something, maybe it's, you know, a resume and do one of these items. Enter a ANS tournament, enter or, you know, Autocrat or Reeve for a day or something, you know, it doesn't have to be a lot, just to show that they're involved and willing to put in the work.
Would it reset at January then? I mean, what's the
It
time
sounds like,
period preceding when you run that you would have to have done that?
I would say within the last reign, because it sounds like,
Yeah,
Burning-
I would put it on
Quite
during
fair.
that read.
yeah. So the previous reign would be my time limit suggested.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I talked that over. Dratz is also in favor of the unlinking of quals in office.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like there's a fair amount of support for it. I don't think it'll be hard to get it to pass, it's more a matter of writing it out and picking the new system. But most of it's writing it out, because this covers a huge amount of text in the Corpora currently.
That's fair.
You know, we still need to have the list of the events and such as that, because that's how we run our arts and sciences. But I think if we have a list of the new items that would qualify a person, what do you guys think about the resume idea?
I like the resume.
I like it.
Okay.
What I particularly like is the idea of a resume plus a, for lack of a better term, quest. One of those, you know, you do a resume, but also you taught a class, or you participated in a tournament or judged a tournament. Something that shows not only that you can write a resume, but also that you are already committed to service in an official standpoint or in an official capacity.
Yeah, I would agree. So we just need to come up with a list of appropriate level quests.
Would you fine tune your list of acceptable quests for different offices? For example, you know, Monarch would be different from Regent, would probably be ANS something. GMR would be, you know, more of like running the battle games or that, and Champion too. Or would you just have a list for everybody and you just pick one?
I tend to want to simplify it and say, you know, hey, bonus points for doing one that's appropriate to your office, but anybody can pick anything.
Yeah, leave it to the resume for them to be clearer. I'm agreed. Keep it general.
A
Plus-
list of items, and then GMR picks one and Monarch picks two. But any two.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Monarch picks two, Regent picks two, GMR and Champion pick one.
Yeah.
And David, I think you said, I heard adding PM to that list.
Yeah, might as well.
Would you
And then
change?
like Kingdom Prime Minister, you same list and a resume.
Would you still keep as a requirement passing a Reeves and Corpora test?
Absolutely.
I would
Yes.
keep that, yeah.
Okay. I don't think that should change either.
No, we're just looking at unlinking the two tournaments and replacing them with a quest and a resume.
I like that we are just universally using the term quest for that now.
Sure. We
like-
needed a term and you made one. Sure, it's fine.
It just happened immediately, like, oh.
I think Burning Lands referred to it like that, and so that
Yes.
it was all
A task. I would say task, but yeah.
Yeah,
quest feels more thematic.
it does feel
Yes.
very, very thematic. I would also accept trials, as in the trials of Hercules.
Right. Okay, so I think we're all kind of on a page of what we want to see, but again, it's a writing up.
That's in the writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If nobody else wants to do it, I can do it. Again, this one does require a lot more writing.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're even going to need to change cultural and fighting events of the Crown Quals the week after declarations are due. I mean, all of that whole
Yeah.
section is, yeah.
Also, to that, when do the quests need to be done? When does the resume need to be in? At declaration or at voting or what?
Feel like I wrote all this down somewhere, but I'm not seeing it in the edits, so I'm gonna have to go looking.
I would say a declaration. I mean, if you're going to declare,
Yeah, declarations
And
is a reasonable.
you need
time
to-
Yeah, my plan was, I think, quals is the week before elections, so everybody has to be qualified to run the week before elections, which would mean that the PM would have to verify that they have turned in their resume, done their quest, and are voting eligible the same weekend as quals, and then that next weekend would be elections.
Okay, so not at declarations, but also declaration could be moved a week later then, because
Yeah, I kind of like earlier declarations, just so people are kind of, heads up what's happening.
okay,
But
So
yeah, it could
you
all be condensed.
declare. You declare, but quals, instead of fighting and the Dragon Master, quals would kind of essentially be, you get all your paperwork in and the Prime Minister reviews it.
Exactly. Yeah. So you still have the same timeline. You'd
Okay.
have declarations
fine.
1 week, qual the next week, which is paperwork, elections the third week.
Mhm.
And then 2 to 3 weeks later is coronation and tournaments.
Okay.
So declarations followed by quals. What was the third thing?
Elections.
Elections, then coronations.
With
Yeah.
tournaments at coronation.
Yes. And there would be a preferably 3-week gap between elections and coronation. Give us time to announce the winner and that winner to make any preparations, garb, whatever that they want to do.
Okay, so declarations, 1 week between declarations and quals, 1 week between quals and elections, and then 3 weeks between elections and coronations?
Yes. I'm kind of upset with myself that I can't find it because I did write all this out at one point, but I don't know what I did with it.
I saw that you highlighted a bunch of it, but I don't see any notes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely wrote it somewhere, but I might have put it in a completely different document. I think that's probably what I did.
Okay,
I'll go looking for it.
so that
So
was,
I'm gonna
Crown-
say
there.
that, Christine, you were going to make the proposed changes to Article 6 Crown qualifications based on our discussion tonight, and then present it at our next meeting.
Okay, yeah, it starts with Article 6, Crown
Yes.
Select, and goes into Article 7, Cultural and Fighting Competitions. And touches a little bit on our mid-reign and coronation events as well. I'll go ahead and share that. Yeah, I did. I had it in a completely different document. That's why it's not showing up. So I'm going to share that one so you can see what I've got so far. Restricted, anyone with the link. I'm gonna put it in the maybe West March Corpora. Let's see if I can find that. I've got so many different tabs open right now. Come on. There we go. All right, see if that works. And it's by no means finished, but it's started. So I'll work on writing that up. And I think probably the best way to present it is, this is the structural changes. And here's what the actual section, the whole text looks like as a file, perhaps. Because
So
I don't think.
Are you gonna
ahead.
remove like all of the cultural events and all of that?
Well, we can't remove them because that's how we run mid-reigns as well, but we do have to update it to reflect that it's no longer happening at quals and it's no longer required for qualling for office, but we still need to have the cultural events and the fighting competitions described if we're gonna run.
So pretty much Article 6 is gonna be a major revamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I made an Article 7 of cultural and fighting events,
Uh-huh.
and have all that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Your section 3 here doesn't include the quests.
No, it does not, because this was before we had talked about it. So I need to add that. Yes. I mean, following cards. Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be an E, it looks like. I'll figure out formatting later, but
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because it's like, it's the same thing I struggle with.
there we go. Okay. So we're gonna have things like autocrating an event, or even sub autocrating is fine.
Well, we could use the Burning Lands list because I thought that was actually reasonable.
Some of it was better than others. The go to another land for a day, nah, not really.
Yeah.
So just put in what you think is appropriate.
Right.
Yeah, it is a good starting point to look
Right.
at.
Yeah, and we can add to that later too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's do more than just be a fighter.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even if you want to be a fighter, I think a very reasonable thing would be coordinate weapon construction, coordinate fighting practices, something like that,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
do more than just fight on the field. is what
Yeah,
I
do
meant.
more than just show up. Yeah.
and I would
Can I
say that, the quests are almost kind of suggestions. They don't necessarily have to be black and white. If somebody else comes up with something creative,
Yeah.
then that could be up to the discretion of the monarchy. Say,
Yeah.
I think that is great, because somebody may come up with something that's not on our list that is better.
Yeah, and especially if we leave them kind of vague enough that people can fit anything,
Yep.
if you teach a class that is very broad, it can be a
Yep.
class on fighting, a stitch and bitch, All right, I'll keep working on that. That's the list that's for now. I think we got a pretty good idea of what we want to present, and I just need to work on the wording.
So then we'll table this one until our next meeting, unless
Okay.
anybody else has any more comments or discussion.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be ready until October. So yeah, we got time.
Well, I do want to give people a chance to get used to it. So
To
ideally,
do their quest. I know sooner is better than later, but
Well, and it
Yeah,
would
I mean-
also give them a chance to do some of the quests if they want to run for office next term. If we make a corpora
Right.
change a month before the time of the
Agreed,
crown,
agreed.
they're kind of screwed.
Yeah. and
So
Mhm.
let's, so I think if we discuss this in our next meeting and make progress, and get it out for probably, maybe realistically, the August all thing.
yeah, that would
Yeah.
be,
Okay, so that one will be tabled, and Christine, you're gonna work on that and present that at the next meeting. I'm gonna go down the list of our agenda until you guys tell me that you're done. And we can leave the rest.
carry on. Carry on.
Okay, so audits. The thing that I had for the audits was a definition of midnight deadline for audit submissions. I know there's like a whole lot about audits. I think a lot of that is gonna be a board of directors discussion. But one of the things that we had talked about was for the corpora, a definition of when specifically is the deadline for audit submissions? Is it 11:59 and 59 seconds on the last day of the month? Or is it 11:59:59 on the first day of the month?
People get confused by the midnight and midnight on
Yeah,
which day.
yeah,
So yeah, I agree. We should change the midnight on the last day to 11:59:59 on the last day of the month.
I agree. And we probably should make that specific June 3rd, let's see, wait, July 30th, 31st, and January 31st. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I always like bump them up a month. And that would be something I think that would be fairly simple that,
Yeah, no one's
It's-
going to disagree with that as long as we put it in the writing somewhere.
yeah.
I
So,
agree. I think that one can go straight up to a vote this month because there's
Yes.
nothing
Yeah.
to worry.
yes, please. I agree, because audits are coming up due at the end of June, the audit period's done, and so that would be important to get done now.
So we need to pressure the orc people to get the update finished.
Yeah,
Okay, I would love to simplify audits requirements. This is one that I think I made a lot of changes to in the running document. We're at Article 9, sponsored chapters. Mainly, I want to, simplify what's required for a land that's doing well, but not requesting an advancement, not needing a bump down, just wants to maintain and do their thing. In the green, I've got the list of what I think is a good thing for them to have to submit each 6 months. And most of it is verifiable by the PM and then done. The only time it needs to go to the BOD is if there's a problem. I hate the rating system. It makes people, I think, get all tight and tense if they think they should get an excellent, but they missed one thing and it doesn't change anything, but they didn't get that excellence, and so they get all upset and hurt. So, I would make it more of a, here's the list of things you do. If there's a problem, let's discuss it. If there's not a problem, see you next month or next year or whatever, But a lot of it is in that first couple of sections, audits.
I
Yeah.
think that changing the Kingdom Prime Minister shall conduct regular audits. The Prime Minister can conduct audits throughout the year whenever is appropriate. I just historically think the Board of Directors should still conduct the audits. And I was kind of thinking more about this. The lands each have a contract with West March. So because lands have a contract with the kingdom, that falls under the BOD purview. And whether the lands are meeting the requirements of their contract falls under the BOD.
Right, but all the stuff that is relevant goes through the PM anyways.
It does, but
So,
I still
PM
think the BOD should review them.
Okay, I mean,
It does help to have more eyes checking the ledgers. Like the rest of it is really simple to look over, but it's good having more eyes looking at the ledger.
And why is that? Why do you say that?
For myself, I know I miss stuff. And the ledger is the important one where money goes missing.
I would
Um,
almost say section 2, item 2, the Kingdom BOD. I would almost say that the Prime Minister and BOD Treasurer may audit any sponsored chapter. Isn't that kind of what we've done in the past?
Okay, so what I've got currently is, I think basically everything goes to the Kingdom PM. At which point the Kingdom PM can then say, wait, let's look at this specific thing and take it to the BOD. Or they can say, looks good, see you next year. Because yeah, number 2 says they may audit any time to ensure smooth operation. It just doesn't make it that they have to do it every 6 months. I think it just takes out a step that, of the requirement, I guess. The PM can ask for help anytime they want. And certainly if there's a problem, it gives them the authority to continue to do that. A lot of it also is just taking out some of the requirements. But if you guys think it's important that we leave it the board of directors instead of going through the prime minister first, I don't need to fight that battle. What do you guys think?
I like it through the board of directors.
Okay.
What was
Okay.
that? I didn't hear.
I was saying, I don't really have an opinion on that one.
I
Aziz,
heard
what
someone
did you
say a
say?
board.
I'm just trying to keep along with the notes, which I am having trouble doing.
You're doing awesome. I really appreciate you doing that. It's huge. Thank you.
I don't sweat it too terribly much. It's helpful, but if you miss a thing here or there, we're trying to kind of get it in places. So it'll be helpful to have it both places.
Yeah.
Um,
So is our discussion here, we want to simplify audit requirements. We want to remove the rating system tentatively. But we want to keep with the PMs and potentially keep the board of directors issues. Or board of directors lingo.
I think what you just said about simplifying the audit process and all of that part, but leaving it under the BOD review every 6 months is what I would agree with.
okay. Okay, that change is already back to the way it's back to BOD. That's no problem. So the list I have here is simplified to kind of cover every land and not worry so much about, a duchy has to do this, a shire has to do that. So the list I have currently is attendance 75% for their current level. Let's see. A list of current officers, a list of current dues paid members, a copy of the ledger. It looks like I kind of quit partway through because I have the current ledger listed twice. But I'd probably get rid of examples of recruitment being required.
So the recruitment in the past, just historically, the examples of recruitment and advertising and all of that has really been a significant discussion in the audits. It's been, what is an example of advertising and recruitment? Is it a picture of you standing holding a banner at a parade? Is it a banner at your park? Is it pictures of flyers? There's been a lot of
posts.
Facebook posts. I mean, that's always been a huge point for the audits. And a lot of lands have gotten dinged for not having a quote satisfactory example of recruitment. Since then, it's kind of like pre-COVID, but since then, the recruitment guild has become active and really done a lot of advertising for individual parks and West March on Facebook. And it's kind of taken away a little bit of the pressure perhaps of individual parks, but this last weekend I've seen 2 parks going out and Clockwork Spires with the Pride Parade and, you know, and all of that. And I've messaged them saying, make sure that you take pictures and screenshots because audits are coming up and you need examples of advertising and recruitment. So I'm just kind of letting you know that that item right there has been a huge, not a sticking point, but it's always been a huge topic for discussion. And some lands have gotten dinged and only gotten a pass because of that item right there.
I think getting rid of the excellent pass fail will help with that. The written description of how new players are brought to the park really simplifies a lot of it. I think, because yeah, it has been long conversations on and off and what qualifies, oh dear God, there's another hour gone. But I mean, if a park isn't if a park is just relying on West March advertising, they're not going to be doing very well. I mean, it's important. I don't know how much the BOD or like, I'm like, it should be in there because if a park isn't actively bringing in new players, the park's going to die. But how much do we want to focus on that? Does that need to be in there or not?
Yeah, I feel like it's
right.
a monarchy issue, not a BOD issue. And certainly if, you know, a land is struggling and hey, here's some things you can try to help. But again, I don't think it needs to be an audit issue.
Yeah, if a land is struggling, the last thing they need is more paperwork.
If a land is struggling, they need somebody to say, yo, you need to like actually advertise. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's more of a monarchy issue than I think the BOD really should just be working on outside stuff, you know, contracts and outside agencies, taxes, not inner workings of the lands, and that should be monarchy.
Mm.
But that's me.
I think advertising does kind of bridge that gap because you are dealing with outside groups by that's who you're advertising to. But yeah, I can see your point.
I don't think, I mean, I think that recruitment is important. I don't know that I would consider it as important as documentation of their ledger and their money transactions, for example. You know, I don't know how important it is to ding them, quote, in an audit. But I also think, and I don't know where in the monarchy it would fall, whose responsibility it would be, or if that is the separate recruitment guild entity and responsibility. Because, you know, if you're not recruiting and you're not advertising and you're not bringing in new players, then West March isn't going to thrive and grow.
But that's a good point. Who is responsible? Whose job at the park is it to do this advertising? It's nowhere else in there.
It's the monarchy, the local park monarchy.
Right.
It's not listed under monarch. It's not listed under regent. It's not.
Nope. And it's been a single land responsibility to make sure that maybe the land PM to make sure that they get all of the boxes ticked for their audit. And one of those has been advertising.
I
And
mean,
so
too,
it's,
Witherspoon, who's in charge of recruitment? Currently, it's myself and Bridget are doing most of it, and we're not local monarchy, or
Right.
we're
Yeah.
not local anything.
Before
It's-
I was elected, I was just going around bugging people, like bugging different Facebook groups that I was in. I mean, even just now,
Yeah.
I've been going to all the different like gamer groups, Bay Area gamer groups, and just shooting out, boom, 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 boom. You know,
Yeah. And
It's
my
not-
connection is about to go real crappy.
Woohoo!
beautiful.
To me, it's not even necessarily monarchy job. It's not something we need to regulate. You know, if a land is doing what it needs to do to be healthy, it's a healthy land and people are going to have fun, and that's sort of the players' responsibilities. And I think it's on the monarchies, the local monarchy and the West March monarchy, to work together to help a land be successful. I don't think and so I think the recruitment guild is a great idea and a good thing to have. I don't think it's something that needs to be regulated by our rules.
Yes.
Okay. So are you guys generally okay then if we decrease the required submissions for a land not in trouble, not seeking promotion, to attendance average, the list of current officers, list of current dues paid members, a copy of the ledger?
If the land is just cruising along, yeah, that sounds fine.
And then section 2 of that is the Kingdom BOD may audit any sponsored chapter at any time, basically for any reason. And then they can request any of the following stuff, which has just about everything that they could want. But they have to request it. It's not they have to do it every 6 months. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Certainly make BOD meetings quicker.
That's the goal, except that I'm going to add more work later on. All right, I will continue to work on that and make it all pretty. So I think we can move on from that, unless anybody else has anything that I missed.
no, the only thing I would say would be a review once a year, but I'll let it go.
What would you want to review specifically?
I just think that the kingdom oversight, for want of a better term, I don't want it to be a big brother thing, but as far as the ledgers and the financials and our lands keeping track of their money, I think someone, whether that's the monarchy or the BOD, should review that once a year. And I think, especially, I keep coming back to the money, but there's been so many transgressions, mistakes, and losses with money on the land basis. All of the lands that are defunct that maybe have cash boxes that haven't been reviewed and collected by the kingdom when the lands go defunct may have an influence on our NPO status if we're audited. I just think,
Are we doing due diligence regarding our 5?
yeah,
Well-
yeah,
I was thinking that the fact that we're still requiring a copy of the ledger every 6 months to the BOD covered us there. Were you wanting more on that regard?
no, because attendance and land status and demotion and promotion is not as important to me as making sure that the money is handled responsibly and accurately.
Right. So, okay, so my question is, what do you want more than a copy of the ledger every 6 months? What specific item do you want included in that list?
I don't, let me think about it.
Okay,
Let me think about it. Because it's changing the whole audit thing every 6 months to like an annual review.
well, mm, I mean, what I'm trying to do is just simplify. I still
Right.
think, I was still trying to keep in your concerns about the money, which is why I included the ledger every 6 months. And it is going to the BOD still.
Okay.
So the BOD retains the power to audit any land they need to. So if they get their 6-month thing and they see a little bit of a red flag, they can then say, hey, land, you need to give me X, Y, Z, and then do a more in-depth audit as they see necessary.
Okay. All right. And then would you say if a land wants to go up for promotion to the next level, that there would be requirements that would need to be submitted for that?
Yes, section 5 says promotion and demotion themselves are not automatic, but require approval of the Kingdom Althing and Kingdom Monarch. If a sponsored chapter passes, so most of this is all the same. Let's see, what did I said? If they pass 2 consecutive audits, they
Yeah, but
meet their,
there's not going to be audits.
no, there will be. There's still 6 months audits every 6 months. And every 6 months, every chapter has to submit monthly attendance, current officers, current dues paid, and current ledger.
It's
And
just
then,
the very small audits.
yeah, small audits every 6 months to the BOD. And then if in that 6-month period, they see something that worries them, or the Monarch or the PM says, hey, take a look at this, the BOD can request everything to the birth certificates of your grandparents if they want to get their job done. And so promotion, let's see, they may request a special audit for a land promotion recommendation from the BOD, after which they'll be informed by the Monarch that they can go on the Althing.
Okay.
So it doesn't take away much power, but it does take away some of the busy work every 6 months.
It loosens it up a little bit.
Yeah, it makes it discretionary.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I will work on cleaning that up, and we will talk about that again for a final copy next time we talk.
The audits will table until next meeting.
Yeah, I'll work on the language and making sure that's cleaned up, but I think we're at a place everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Mhm.
Okay. Lovely.
Okay,
How are people
so I was thinking about, it's 7:47, about maybe going until 8 o'clock.
Okay,
The next
Yeah,
item,
I would prefer to end at 8 or maybe a little earlier. Yeah.
yeah, well, the agenda that we had for tonight, it was a lot, and there was no way we're gonna get through all of it. I
Yeah.
think that focusing on the big things that we've already talked about, like the top 3, will be huge. And then we can kind of see how those go and then move on to the others. So I guess my comment now would be, do you want to continue, or do you want to stop where we are and then pick up with the rest of the list next meeting? I would like to meet, if it's not too much, like to meet every other week. I think twice a month for all of the work that we have on our agenda, and try to get things done in 6 months would be reasonable.
At least for the first month or 2, that sounds good. Yeah.
in general, I would say yes. However, 2 weeks from tonight is the BOD meeting.
Hmm.
So we can't do it then, and I will be out of the country until July 3rd.
Hmm.
So, and then again, I'm leaving town again on July 10th. So the next meeting I could attend would probably be the 17th if we want to keep it on Sundays.
What about July 2nd?
I will be on an airplane
Oh,
over
that's
the
right.
Atlantic.
That's right. That's right.
What about
Um,
June 25th instead of the 26th? Can we do a Saturday?
I will be on, and I will be somewhere in England at that point.
The day before the BOD?
Woo.
Okay.
Yes.
What about Saturday, July 9th?
I will be here. I'm going camping the next day, but I will be here.
Could you do
Mhm.
Saturday, July 9th? Because we really need to have
Sure.
you here.
Sure.
I mean, it's on Zoom. You can do it anywhere, but
Well, I'm not gonna do it when I'm in England. I'm sorry. uh, between the time difference and wanting to see everything I can, I'm gonna be reachable for emergencies, but I'm not gonna be planning meetings.
What about if
Uh,
we met a little earlier on Saturday, July 9th?
I can do that.
Everybody else? I'm
Saturday,
thinking
July 9th.
Saturday,
yeah, Saturdays
July
are entirely
9th,
free for me.
4 or 5 o'clock. How about you, Azus? Do you work Saturday?
This is all over the place.
Thumbs up. There we go. Okay.
Saturday's
Let's-
good. So what time
5 o'clock.
Saturday do you want to meet? 4, 5 o'clock?
If we go too early in the day, I tend to be out doing stuff.
Yeah, I'm also trying to be active in the daytime, so.
Would
Yeah,
5, I'm just
I
trying to meet
Me.
so that you can get kind of centered and leave the next day. Would 5 o'clock be too early for everybody?
I think 5 o'clock is reasonable.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so 5 o'clock,
Well, and
what was that?
I'll do my packing well before then. So
So 5
Okay.
o'clock, Saturday, July 9th is the next meeting. I will put that on the Kingdom calendar, the rain calendar.
okay.
And the other thing, just FYI, I'm gonna add to the agenda is the BOD handling of the contracts. Because I found a line in there about that they handle contracts with everybody else, which includes event site contracts. I'm gonna just add that for next time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing I want to add to the BOD for sure.
Yep.
To sort of, yeah, give you guys an idea of what to expect. The voting eligibility is just my personal preference. I think switching it would be nice. That's not terribly complicated. It's just going to require a vote and decide who wants what, you know? I do want to kind of have us start thinking about a digital committee, something that's either elected or appointed, and it's a year-long thing. And all the various people who are currently working on our digital stuff should have that be recognized and official. And that way we can offer them more help and support, and we know who to
Lions.
ask. What was that?
And lions.
And lines?
Lions.
Order of the Lion.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. Exactly. Yeah. I want to make that, I want to codify that. I'm just looking here. Let's see. Process for removing defunct lands. I think that can be kind of quick. Okay. Yeah. That's what we have left on here that we'll kind of save for next time.
Okay,
Very good.
Lovely.
yeah.
Okay, I will type up my notes. I think they're gonna line up with a lot of other people's notes, but I will type up my notes and I will do you want me to make them a Google Doc or a Word doc and then submit them to the chat?
I love Google Docs because then
Google
they're
Doc it is.
access and all in the same place for me.
Sounds
good.
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Woo, got a lot done. I think this was like the most active Corpora committee meeting I've ever been to. Awesome.
All right. Everyone.
Thanks, everybody. We have a lot of really good people and a lot of good ideas and experience, and I think it'll be a good committee.
Mhm. Very good.
Okay, thank you guys.
Okay, cool. See you guys. Have a good week. Stay cool, stay healthy, stay safe.
Will
You
do.
too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.